welcome back to another episode of the Watchaholic. Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing swell. I am doing fantastic today because just before filming, that's right, I watched episode 6 of Bridgerton. So you know why you're here. So let's just get into it. You know why you're here. You click the title because obviously you know we are going to be covering Bridgerton season 2 episode 6 titled The Choice. And guys, there were lots of choices being made in this episode. The word the choice or the words the choice were being thrown out here and there and everywhere. And yeah, we are going to get straight into it, guys, today, because there's no news or anything I really want to talk about. I kind of just want to talk about this episode because this is my second time rewatching the whole episode. Well, I kind of just, went through the scenes that were like the most pivotal that I felt like I really needed like a reminder of what was going on. But guys, like, this episode was a fantastic episode. I did realize though that I didn't find this episode to be like one of my top favorite ones. I mean, spoiler alert, guys. Yes, at the end of this episode, Kate and Anthony finally kissed and it was beautiful. And because of that, I find this episode to be even better than it actually, like, I just find it to be like awesome. But at the same time, it's not one of my favorite episodes. There's just so much going on. There's so many other like plot lines going on. And at the end of the day, like, give me some more Kate and Anthony. Not that even though there were some cute Eloise and Theo moments, but like, you really had every single side plot going. You've got the Queen trying to figure out who Lady Whistledown is. You've got the Kate and Anthony. You have Penelope and Colin / Penelope and Eloise. Then you have Eloise and Theo's. Then you've got the Featherington side plot. Like, there is so much going on in this episode. So many side plots that, like, I think maybe that's why it's not my like top 3. I'll just say top 3 because all 8 episodes are fantastic, as you guys know that this is how I feel. I love this show. So it's hard for me to be like, I didn't really like this episode because I love every single one of them. It's just not like, I still think episode 5 is a lot better. But this is still really, really good. So let's get into it. Let's get into the scene by scene breakdown. Let's do it. Let's get into the episode breakdown. Okay, so episode starts off with the Queen getting ready for the wedding. There's peacocks. She's trying different cakes. She's trying like everything possible. And at the same time, you can tell that she is doing her little scheming of her own because she is trying to take down Lady Whistledown. She is trying to find out who this person is. And she's got her own little plan going on this wedding day where she's going to have a whole bunch of different footmen follow along a whole bunch of the women that she believes or suspects to be Lady Whistledown in order to be able to, find out who she is. She also has another idea of having, one of her butlers like basically start spreading like false rumors, and whoever he says those rumors to and they end up being in the Lady Whistledown, newsletter of the week, she'll be able to know who it is. But basically that's how it starts off, and she's kind of like, she does like this like sniffing thing. I'm like, are we sniffing cocaine? Like, what are we sniffing? She does it a couple of times during this episode, and I don't remember seeing it in season 1. I might be wrong, but every single time I've been seeing this, I'm like, is she smoking coke? I don't know what she's smoking, but she's smoking something, and you're the queen. You can do whatever you want, right? Am I right? Mm-hmm. So then the next scene is obviously, it's a beautiful scene. We've got Edwina, Kate, and Lady Mary doing the pre-wedding ritual. It's a pre-wedding ritual that they do in India, and it's with turmeric paste that you put on the bride. It's beautiful, and I'm so happy that they included this in the show, just to really showcase that part of their culture in the show. I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful touch, and it's a really beautiful scene. Except it's a beautiful scene all in all, but it's also a little bit sad because you kind of see that Edwina starting to realize like, oh, Anthony doesn't really look at me like I don't know, like as much. I don't know. And he's also like really rushing this wedding. Like it's a little bit odd. And I don't know, he just doesn't look at me in that way. And Kate kind of just like, oh, well, that's just, you know, a passing thing. It's fleeting and it's just passion. And I think she's kind of saying that because she realizes that like obviously her and Anthony have been having a lot of glances. So she's like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. It's just, in the moment, it's just a passion. And she's like, oh, so the Viscount doesn't have any passion for me, Edwina says. She's like, no, like, that's not what I mean. And she says this beautiful quote, and she says, true love is something else entirely. It is when the rest of the world goes quiet. It is not eyes that meet, but souls that dance. They settle into each other, make room for each other, so there is nowhere else to hide. And it's actually really great because it's very foreshadowing of what is to come in the wedding scene, because obviously like that is how she feels about Anthony, and what she is saying is what is happening when it's just Anthony and Kate in a room. It really is two souls dancing together and, you know, settling in and making room for each other, like she says. It's really, really beautiful. But I also wonder, I'm like, does Edwina not wonder, like, well, who is she talking? Has she been in love? Like, who is she talking about? Like, I have no idea. But yeah, it's a beautiful, well-directed and shot scene. I love that scene. But we're continuing on. Basically, we gotta go into the Featheringtons. Featheringtons scheming. Yay, we're gonna basically rob people of their money. We're gonna pretend that these jewels are real, but they're not real. Blah, blah, blah. That's basically what it is. And then you have this like really creepy interaction between Jack Featherington and Lady Featherington, because he's starting to feel kind of like attracted to her because she's like taking control of the situation. And it's just creepy. I mean, they're not blood related at all. They're just like she was married to like his cousin, I think is what it is. It's just creepy. I don't like it. Let's move on. Blah. But basically also throughout the scene with Kate, Lady Mary, and Edwina in their bachelorette party, you also have the opposite, where they show Anthony at his bachelor party with his brothers, and they're just, it's shot really interestingly. Like clearly they're all like getting drunk as hell. They're getting drunk. You know, I think Anthony is really just kind of just trying to be like, you know what, this is my life. Like, this is what I chose. I'm gonna marry the Viscountess. That was the plan, and we're gonna go ahead with it. But you can kind of still see that he, in the back of his head, is still like thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what is happening? And his brothers, and like, it's so funny to me because I feel like the brothers just have no idea. I'm like, do you not know who your brother is? Like, how do you not know that something's going on? But they're just, you know, busting his balls, talking about how like, oh, there's gonna be a little Anthony walking around being like, oh, my duties that I have to do. It's pretty funny. Benedict is actually pretty funny in this. And this whole season, Benedict was actually really funny, and I really, really enjoyed him. So I'm wondering where his story is going, but I really enjoyed him this season. I thought he was really, really funny. But next thing you know, we are ready to go to the wedding. Yeah, this episode, it's all about the wedding. It's the whole thing takes place at the wedding, basically. And, you know, it's the morning of, and Violet is getting all the kids together and getting all the family together, and the brothers are still kind of drunk from the bachelor party, and she's like, oh, someone go get Anthony, like, is he ready? And she thinks that he's like, you know, not ready, and he just like walks out. He's like, oh, I'm ready, born ready, in fact. And then and then he walks out with the family, let's go. And she's kind of like, what the hell? Like, how can he be so ready? And I don't think she believes him. I know she's his mom. She's like, Anthony, something you're not telling me. There's something you're not telling me, boy. I know. But I also think that Anthony is really truly just kind of putting this facade that he is ready, but internally he is screaming and he is not ready. He has no idea like what is about to go down. He's just like, okay, I guess so. All right, fine. But anyway, we do skip around. There is some scenes between Edwina and Kate. You know, she has these bangles that Kate has these bangles that were her mom's when she got married, and she decides to give them to Edwina on her wedding day. And it's very beautiful. And she's like, oh, okay, like I'll wear them. They're for you. I'm not going to be wearing them, obviously, because she doesn't believe that she's going to get married. So she's like, I'd rather give them to my sister. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment. And then you have the quite opposite scene, because we've got Anthony with Benedict, and Daphne walks in, and he's like getting ready in front of the mirror, like straightening up his jacket, and you know, he's like, oh, you're late, and Daphne's like, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't know if this freaking wedding was happening anyway, so that's why I'm late. I had no idea if it was gonna actually happen, because obviously at this point, if you guys remember, she has already caught, you know, Kate and Anthony in a kind of compromising situation, and she knows that Anthony has feelings for Kate and is kind of doing this wedding just because he doesn't want to be or give in to love. And she's just like, oh, like, what the fuck? Like, why is this wedding happening? You know, sort of thing. So, you know, she's kind of like just saying like, oh, Edwina deserves the truth. Benedict's in this room this whole time, and Benedict's like, what is she talking about? And Anthony's like, leave. Leave. You need to leave. You need to leave. Basically, he's like, yeah, you're the best man, so you gotta get out of here. And he's like, okay, fine. So he leaves, and Kate and Anthony have this like intense conversation. It's very sad, actually, because by the end of it, you know, that basically Daphne's just telling him like, you know, why are you, like, I saw the way you changed when Dad died. You know, when he died, you put up this wall, and you know, you put away all of your emotions, and it doesn't have to be like that. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to fight for the family that you want. And he says, I choose to fight for the family I have. And he's like, you don't understand what it's like, because you don't have to carry on the Bridgerton name. Like, you're born, like, I am born to carry that name. You are just born to marry into somebody else's, and you don't have to deal with any of these duties and all this stuff. And she says, you know, it's really interesting because you talk about all these duties and you resent us for it. And at the end of the day, like, this doesn't make us respect you. It makes us pity you. I said, she did not. Oh my God, she did not. Yeah, she basically tells him that the family pities him. And it's so sad because, you know, I see both sides here. I see how the family can see the way that he acts and how he can be so hard on them and be so overbearing and be so emotionless that the family is always just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I get that, but at the same time, like, they will never understand what it was like for Anthony to have to grow up overnight. Like, you know, when we found that out in episode 3 about his dad dying, you know, he got stung by the bee, and then literally his dad dies in front of him, and 5 minutes later, it's like, you're the Viscount now. And he has to do all the responsibility, raise all his siblings, help his mom raise these kids because the mom was in such grief after the dad died. Like, I get why Anthony is the way that he is. But at the same time, like, Daphne's also right, because it's like you can choose to be happy. That it's something that's so important. And he's just in that moment, you know, obviously just refusing to do that. So, which is why he's in this pickle of freaking getting married to Edwina. My fucking God. I'm still, it still upsets me that we've gotten this far. Like, I cannot believe we have gotten this freaking far. But okay, so obviously let's just get into the wedding, because it pretty much comes in like right after that. And oh my God, what a wedding. What a beginning of a wedding scene. Oh my God, it's beautiful. You've got the Sign of the Times classical rendition playing in the background. It is beautiful. Oh my God. So, you know, Anthony walks down the aisle first, and guys, I can't get over this. When I rewatched it just now, I couldn't get over how, oh my God, it was so beautiful to watch, but also so sad. But so you have Anthony walk down, like I said, and then you have Kate walking down the aisle, because she's like the maid of honor, so she walks by herself, and everyone is looking at her, and Anthony is just staring at her, and you could just see it in his face how in love he is, and how in love he is with this woman. Like, the way he is looking at her is like, oh my God, like looking into her literal soul, and he like lights up in his eyes. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, how the fuck does no one see this? How is everyone in this freaking, like at the wedding just being like, oh yeah, he's just looking at her, great, yeah, yeah, okay. Like no one notices. I'm like, guys, are you truly that blind? Is everyone truly that blind? Everyone is Edwina at this point, basically. But yeah, so Kate walks up and they had this beautiful shot where they're both like looking, they kind of, Anthony's staring at her and then she stares at him, and then they kind of stare at each other real quick. And then they were like, oh, wait. Oh, no, I can't be looking. And they look back forward, but it's a beautiful shot. And at that moment, like I said, I don't know how. Like, how did no one know? I don't get it. I don't get it. But okay, so then you've got Edwina walking down the aisle next, and she looks absolutely stunning. I will give her that. She looks stunning as all hell. I actually heard in an interview, or it was like a behind the scenes, that they actually, like, no one actually saw her until she actually walked in for the first time. So all those reactions are genuine reactions of people when she walked down the aisle, and I thought that was a really nice touch. I love when they do things like that so that you can get a really natural reaction. I think that is a fantastic way to film scenes of like when someone's walking in for the first time to something new, or that you're gonna see something. Like, I think it's a great touch, so that really made me happy. But okay, so then this is when shit gets crazy. So they're at they're in the altar, and the priest is there with Edwina and Anthony are staring at each other, you know, just waiting for the vows to start or whatever. And Kate is behind her, and fucking Anthony. I love this man, but my God, could you not keep it together? Could you not keep it together? This is a show. Obviously, he couldn't, because if he kept it together, there would have been a wedding. So clearly, this is a show. He can't keep it together. So he's looking at Edwina, and then his eyes slowly start looking at Kate, and there is this like transition of a scene where he is envisioning marrying Kate, and there's no one there, and he's like looking at her, and he can't like believe that she's in front of him in this wedding dress, and he like smiles, and she's smiling at him, and he's like looking out to the like, he's like, oh my God, like no one's here. It's like, it's in that moment where it is just them in that room together, and then you just hear, my lord, Mr. Bridgerton, he kind of like snaps out of it, and it's like the priest like being like, hey, and he's like, oh, sorry. And then Edwina's like, Lord Bridgerton, to repeat, like, are you gonna repeat after the priest or whatever? And he's like, oh yeah. And then he's still kind of staring at Kate, and Kate has the bangles on. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention before that Edwina decides like that she's not going to use the bangles because she just doesn't feel right. Like, oh no, these are yours, and I feel like these were your mom's, and you should wear it for your day. Just, I don't want to wear them. I don't feel like it's the right thing. So she gives them back. So this whole time, Kate's like holding the bangles. She's like holding the bangles because she's nervous. She's trying to keep it together. And one of the bangles, boop, pops off and falls on the floor in slow motion, and everything stops. It's just quiet. Bangle on floor. And Kate and I think look at each other. She goes down to grab it, and he goes down with her to grab it, and they're just staring at each other down on the floor. And I'm like, people, guys, you're at the fucking wedding. Like, and at this point, I really just don't understand how people are like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, why are they staring at each other? What the hell? This is weird. I could not. I mean, beautiful moment, but my God, how are people that blind? And at this moment, you know, you can see that Edwina is looking down at them, and she sees how they're looking at each other, and she starts to clock that shit. Freaking, it took 6 episodes for her to realize what the hell was going on between them. Like, wait a minute, wait a minute, that's the look I've been wanting from Anthony. Why isn't Anthony looking? Oh, hell no. So she starts like kind of like hyperventilating, and everybody's like, Edwina, and she's like, I need a moment. And she like runs out. The mom runs runs after her. Everyone's like gasping. They're like, what the hell? And Kate and Anthony look at each other and they're like, fuck. And then Kate runs after them and it's a shit show. Fireworks go off because they think they got married. Obviously not. So it's just really awkward. Queen's like, what just happened? Basically her wedding has been ruined. Her wedding extravaganza has been ruined. So yeah, it's a shit show. But we get to the next scene where basically it's Edwina's in the room. She's hyperventilating. She's freaking out. She's pissed. The mom's like, it's just nerves. It'll be fine. It's just nerves. And she's like, we'll get you some tea. She's like, it's not tea that I want. It's the truth. And this is where, and I have to give props to Miss Charithra Chandra, I think is her name. Charithra. She plays Edwina. This is like some of the best acting that I've seen from her all season, and I think this is the pivotal moment when her character really switches and starts to really grow into herself, into her own, into the woman that she wants to be. And it is really nice to see her have that moment. I mean, is she really bitchy? Yes. Does she have, I understand why she is the way that she is in this moment. Obviously she's pissed and she's going to continue to be pissed for another episode, but I think she should have understood a little bit more that like Kate wasn't trying to be a horrible person. Like Kate loves her, and I think she kind of just didn't want to see it because she was so angry at her because she just couldn't believe that like that she loved the man that she was about to marry, you know? And like, obviously that's a shit show. Like, obviously who wouldn't be upset? But one of my favorite things that she says is like, she's just like, oh, your world. Cause like Kate usually always has something to say. And in this scene, she's just like, has nothing to say. And she's like, oh, your words fail you, sister. You like, you know, like, why aren't you telling me what's going on here? Like, what's going on? And she's like, you told me that you hated him and that's not true. You have feelings for him. And she's just like, Kate is just literally a mess. Like she doesn't even know what to say. And she says, do you love him? And Kate is silent. I was like, ooh. Well, if that was not an answer, do you love him? And Kate is just like on the brink of tears. I'm like, well, yeah. That was your answer. Yeah, she loves him. She is in love with this man. No matter how many times in this episode they still try to say that they don't, that was a pass. No. No. You love each other. But yeah, it's a really silent. It's sad in that moment because then, you know, Lady Mary basically shoos Kate away and it's just like, you've hid so much stuff from us. Please go anywhere else. Please go. And Kate and Harry, oh my God, and it just breaks my heart because we're still at that moment, you know, kind of, I'm when you watch this episode and knowing how episode 5 ended and how sad it was, like I can still see that sadness and how I feel as well. I feel so sad for Kate. It just literally just, my heart like hurts. It literally hurts every time she's just, because I know she's doing this for her sister because she loves her. She's given up Anthony for her because she loves her, and she's just kind of just being yelled at and being told like, no, you're doing this for yourself, you're a horrible person, like how could you do this? And that's not what it is at all. And it's really, really hard to watch. But basically Kate runs out. She finds solace in a nice little closet. Don't we all love a closet? She cries and she throws her bangles on the floor, and it's just her by herself in this room just letting go. And it beautiful acting by Miss Simone Ashley. But my God, it's so sad. And then you have the Bridgertons, you know, now they're in the room talking about like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, this isn't the point where I'm like, guys, did we not see the wedding? Did we not see what just happened? What do you mean? What happened to Edwina? Like she clearly figured some shit out. And like the brothers are so, like the brothers, the sisters, except for Daphne, everyone is so like oblivious to the fact that like of what's actually going on, and it really bothers me. I'm like, guys, do you not know your brother at all? But basically at the end of the scene, you know, Anthony's like, yeah, I need to go, and he leaves the room, and the mom, Violet, realizes that because he looks at Daphne like, you like they look at each other, they have like a moment where like he's just like pissed at her, basically. And the mom realizes that, and she tells Daphne, like, what do you know? She's like, I don't know anything. She's like, you're my daughter. You might be a duchess, but you're still my daughter. Tell me what you know. And she walked, and that's the end of the scene, because clearly, I'm pretty sure she ends up being like, hey, mom, I don't know if you realize, but, like, Anthony's, like, in love with Kate. I saw them in, like, the library together being really close. I think he's in love with her. I wish I would have seen that conversation. I actually would have liked to see that conversation, because that would have been fucking funny. Just saying. Wouldn't you guys like to have seen that type of conversation? Right? I think so. Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then we've got the Queen and Lady Danbury coming up in our next scene, and basically it's just the Queen basically telling Lady Danbury, like, this is fucked up and you need to fix it. It is only because of you that I made Miss Edwina the Diamond. You vouched for this family, and now this chaos is going on, and you need to fix it. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, well, this is not gonna be good. This is gonna be a little bit crazy. Like, what the hell is Lady Danbury gonna do? Like, force him to get married? I mean, Anthony's already trying to force himself into the marriage. All we need now is Lady Danbury trying to force him. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Oh my Lord, have mercy. But skipping on, we're going on to Eloise and Penelope. You know, they have a couple of scenes together, and this one is it's a really nice, it's a really cute scene, kind of, because it's basically Eloise saying, like, I think I like this guy, and I don't know if he likes me, and the idea of not knowing sucks. Like, I hate, like, having to it kind of reminds me of, like, when you're young and you kind of are, like, reading all the signs, and you're like, does he like me? Like, he does this and this and this, but I don't know, maybe that doesn't mean that. Like, that's basically, like, she's just, like, thinking of him and wondering if he likes her back, and the idea of not knowing is annoying. Like, she wants to know, and Penelope's like, but why? Like, why does it matter? She's like, because it's torment. It's fun torment, but I don't want to be tormented. It's just easier for me to know. It's just easier. And Eloise is like, have you never been in a situation like that? And I'm like, how does Eloise not know that her best friend is in, like, deep love with her brother? Like this whole episode just realized, like, it made me look at people be like, at each other's siblings and best friends and be like, do you guys really know each other at all? Because how do you not know that this person has feelings for this person, or that they're feeling this way? Like, I'm like, how long have you been friends with freaking Penelope, and you're telling me you don't know she's in love with Colin? Oh, for the love of God. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I do not get it. But yeah, so then you've got the next scene, which is let's dive into the next scene. Oh my God. So you've got Edwina and Anthony talking after the, the scene. And I never know how I feel about the scene, because it's like Anthony really being in denial about his feelings for Kate. He's just like, oh, she's gonna be the thorn from the blossom flower of our lives, like, gone. And I'm like, okay, stop with the dramatics, okay? We know you're fucking in love with her. Stop acting like she's a thorn, okay? Because we know she ain't no thorn. And it's just crazy to think, because he really, in the moment, really thinks that him and Edwina share the idea that this is just a role that they're filling. Hey guys, so I'm editing, and I just realized that, I didn't record the next part of this. So, yeah, basically what happens is, he basically tells Edwina that he understands her, because she asks him, oh, it's because you love me. And he says, I understand you. I sympathize with you. So yeah, basically he just told her, yeah, I don't love you, and I'm just gonna marry you because your sister's kind of leaving to India. So yeah, we get that scene, and then we also get the scene of Anthony and Kate in the closet, where he tells her, like, hey, you need to, fix this, and she's like, I can't. And then they have, like, this really nice moment together where they're kind of like, you think they're gonna kiss, but they're not. Thankfully they didn't, because we didn't want that. But yeah, that's basically what happened. Let's get back into the video. So the next scene we have is a scene with King George, and it's a really beautiful scene, but also really, really sad. So you have basically Lady Danbury, Lady Bridgerton or Violet, Lady Mary, and then you also have Edwina, who are coming to go talk to the queen, and basically Edwina's about to give her decision, like, this is what I'm gonna do. And then you have King George, who like bursts through the doors, and at this point, like I think in season 1 they talked about this, but he has dementia, so it's just really, really sad, because you can just see it on the queen's face how sad she is that he is here in this moment and not realizing that it's not their wedding day, because he's like, oh, honey, like, did you see the fireworks? Like, it's our wedding day, like, this is so great. And she's kind of like really nervous, and she's like, please, somebody, please help. And the footmen come and they try to grab him to put him back in the room, and he's just like yelling that he doesn't want to go, that he wants to be with the queen. And it's just so sad. And it's in this moment that Edwina decides that she's going to help in the situation and help calm the king down. And it's really beautiful. She basically tells him how it is their wedding day, and she's gonna make a beautiful queen, and just basically calms him down and talks him down to the point where he calms down, and they're able to take him away to his room. And I think it's in this moment that the queen realizes, like, oh wow, she is a diamond. Edwina is a beautiful person, and she is a diamond. And I think she really gets into her good graces in that moment when she sees like what she has done for her and the king. But after that, we've got basically Colin and Penelope having a nice talk. Bloom, 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 bloom. Yay, yay, yay. Oh my God, I love you secretly. Wait, what? No, that didn't happen. But I'm literally always thinking, like, how can he be this blind? How does he not know that she isn't like in love with him? Like, she is the only one who wrote to you in Grace Boy. Clearly she is into you. Like, what is wrong with you? But at the end of the scene, he does say, like, Lady Crane was right. She told me that you would never, that you would always be there for me. And I'm starting to see that is true. And I'm like, starting. Oh my God. I don't know how their season is going to go with the whole, like, with them, because boy is blind. And the way he ended season 2, it's not looking good. I don't know, but I hope that, I'm pretty sure like the way it's gonna go down is that Penelope, after we'll get to that episode, but there is a point where just Colin doesn't say something, does say some really mean things that she kind of overhears, and I think she kind of is like, you know what, I'm over you, like, fuck you, goodbye. And then when that happens is when he's gonna be like, wait, no, Penelope, come back, I love you. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but at this point, she needs to move on because Colin is a blind. Oh, yeah. But basically, also after that, Eloise decides she's gonna go see Theo. Penelope's like, no, don't go. And she's like, no, I have to do it. She just leaves in the middle of like the wedding too. It's so funny. She's like, oh, no one's gonna care. Like, they're so focused on Anthony. Like, no one's gonna miss me. She just leaves. And that's when there was a footman who, as if you heard me in the beginning of the episode, the queen said that she was gonna have every footman follow every single one of the people she thinks might be ladies with Whistledown, and Eloise is in that list. So the footman is like creepily like watching her, and later on you do see that he follows her. But after that, we do go back to the Queen and Eloise, the Queen and Edwina, and it's in this moment. Basically, the Queen tells Edwina, like, hey, even I can understand what we must do for love. So she basically gives her the decision that, that you should do what you want to do in the face of love. Everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves the right to feel that love and deserves to do what they need to do for that love. And I honestly think it's that King George scene that really just cemented that kind of friendship for them, where they were like, she was like, good woman. So yeah, so she decides that, and then basically the next scene, ooh, we're getting to the end, guys. We're getting to the end now. We're getting to the crazy things where things will be revealed, things will be said. I'm so excited. So let's get into it. So Edwina basically sends like a letter to each Kate and Anthony, but they both think that it's from each other. So they both like basically run to like where the church, I guess, where the wedding scene was. And then he's like, oh, you asked for me? She's like, oh, I thought you asked for me. And then you have Edwina come through the doors and she's like, bitches, I brought you here. Surprise! Boop, 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 boop. So she comes in and she basically tells Anthony, like, I can't marry you. You can't give me what it is I want, and you can't give me what it is I deserve. And this scene to me, at least when she talks to Anthony's a little bit not petty, but I'm just like, girl, he told you from day one that he and your sister told you from day one that he did not want a love match, that he just wanted a viscountess, somebody who could be his friend basically and bear his children. However that works, I don't get it, but whatever. So the fact that she's in here right now being like, oh, you can't give me what I want, what I deserve, bitch, he told you from the beginning what he wanted. He said he did not want to be in love, that it's not what he was looking for. Like, you heard it from everyone, and you chose to go against the grain and be like, oh, but he's so honorable, like, he's a good man. Okay, well, if that's all you want, then stop complaining now that you realize that he's in love with somebody else. That's so mean. That's so mean that I'm saying that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, he told you. Girl, he told you. So, and I'm also not condoning the fact that what Anthony did was right, because obviously, like, yeah, he shouldn't have asked her to marry her in the first place if he wasn't sure. He shouldn't have, been looking at her sister the whole time in front of her like that on their wedding day. Absolutely not. Or behind closed doors. He shouldn't be saying, you are the bane of my existence and the object of all my desires. You shouldn't be saying that to her sister either the night before. So, just saying. So, Anthony was in the wrong, but at the same time, Edwina should have known. So I don't understand why at this moment she's like, you didn't tell me. I'm like, goodbye. And then she basically tells Kate, like, hey, you put all these things that you wanted on me. And for the first time in my life, I'm going to make my own choice. And that's good enough for me. I made this choice on my own, and it wasn't a choice that you put on me. I did this myself. And you lost your power today. And I won, basically. And I don't, there's something about that saying where she says, today you have lost your power and I have gained my own, or something like that. And that's good enough for me. It's an interesting line about her losing her power, because I don't think it was her going on a power trip like, oh, I'm gonna make her do things for me. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting line. I don't know how I feel about it, but basically she's just like, I'm making my own decisions. I don't want to have this life that you've wanted for yourself, but thought that you didn't deserve it, so you gave it to me. You put all of your wants, all of your ideas into my head, but they were never really my own. They were all yours. And I mean, valid. I mean, she did, I'm pretty sure, Kate does want or did want all these things, but she just felt that she shouldn't, because when she does tell this to her Edwina in the previous scene, but she does tell her, like, hey, when Appa died, I decided that I wouldn't do anything for myself, that I would do everything for you guys first, that you two were going to be taken care of. And that's a whole self-sacrificing. Same thing with Anthony. They're in the parallel stories. They're parallel roles, literally. But at the end of the scene, one of my favorite classical renditions plays, and it is the What About Us by Pink. What about us? What about all the answers? What about us? What about us? My God, I used to love that song in college, and I loved this classical rendition. It's playing in the background when, oh my God, it's the cutest scene when Eloise and Theo are together. So she goes and finds him, and she basically is like, she tells him, where is it? She says, do you have thoughts of me when you think? And it's the cutest thing. And you have that rendition playing, like, what about us? Because it's like her, you know, like, what about me and Theo? What's going on? And it's so beautiful. It's so cute, so cute. And you know, she's just kind of nervous. Like, you know, she's never told the guy that she like kind of likes him. And she's like, yeah, like, you know, basically she tells him like, you know, whenever I'm thinking about certain topics, like I think about you and what you think about them. And I was wondering like if you have thoughts of me when you think. And he kind of walks away and she's kind of feels a little bit like, and he goes and he grabs these books and he gives them to her and he's just like, every time he's like, I read a new book, I set them aside for you, thinking that, you know, maybe we can talk about it together. And it's just so cute. It is so cute. And I hope they end up together. I don't know. Like I said, no one knows what season 3 is going to be. If it's going to be Colin and Penelope or if it's going to be Eloise and her love story, because I know in the books it's very different. Theo's a made-up character. She's like with some other guy. So I don't know which route they're going, but like I'd be really upset if they introduce this character and then like he just doesn't come back. So I really hope that like season 3 is more of their like love story, because I think they're so cute. Theo and Eloise, they're so cute. And it would be a really good season, I think, because it would really be about like, you know, her falling in love with someone of a lower rank than her. Like what would that, what scandal that would ensue? What would that bring? You know, or bringing him into a higher rank, like how he would feel being in this place where he's never been, you know? Like I think it would be really cool, like storyline to explore. So I really hope they like dive more into that next season for sure. It'd be really cute, really cute. But after that, so we're getting to our final scene, which you guys know is the scene we have all been waiting for. It took us 6 episodes to get here, but we finally did. But it is the first kiss between Anthony and Kate, and it is, oh my god, it is fireworks, literally. It's well worth the wait. It is such an amazing scene. But one of the things that I'm pretty sure we all found out, because when you're watching this show, everything seems so rushed that you're like, oh, so it's been like 2 weeks in their life, but it's been months. Because Anthony is like, oh, you know, haven't felt it for months. And I remember being like, wait, it's been months? You guys have been secretly feeling this way for months? No wonder Anthony looks like he wants to devour you every single time he sees you, because he hasn't been able to like fucking kiss you in months, and he's like been feeling this crazy passion. I was shook when he said it's been months. I said, oh, this tension, this passion, I get it. It's been held back for a very long time. So I get why every single time they are together, it feels like they just want to pounce each other. Like, I get it now. But basically Kate in that moment, you know, after Edwina's left, like they're both just standing there alone, and she's just like, you know, I guess we should leave now. But you know, the moment we leave these doors, basically in a paraphrase way, she says, the moment we leave these doors, everything changes. We were going to realize all of our failures, everything that we didn't do right, all of that is going to be outside of these doors. You know, the scandal, all those things that they're going to have to now deal with. The idea that they both failed at their roles, as she likes to say. She says, yeah, we failed at our roles and we failed at what we wanted to do here. And she's like, so forgive me if I just want to have this moment to just wait and not think about the inevitable. You know, I just want to be here in the moment, basically. And it's beautifully shot because you got Anthony and Kate on 2 separate sides. And the outside shot that's filmed is like they're like far away from each other, like far away. And then you've got the closer in shots with each other. But she basically just says like, I just want to stand here. And then you could feel she is like oh my God, like this feeling, like I can't fight it anymore. I can't fight this feeling that I have for this man. And she's just like breathing, and she just says, goodbye, my lord. She says, goodbye, my lord. And I remember being like, oh my God, are you kidding me? No. But what gives it away, and I mean, not gives it away in a bad way, but what kind of gives it away is that the music starts to like, you feel that some shit's about, like you feel it in the music that they're playing, that she's, her heart is, she's like, beat, like her, you can just feel, and then she just, boom, dives, like she goes for it and she kisses him. And it's funny because someone made this, they said this before, and I was like, oh, I didn't even miss it, but like when she kisses him, it kind of takes him a while to realize like, shit, like she's like, we're kissing. And the moment that he realizes it and he lets go and he gives into that kiss with her, it's fireworks. It's fire. It is, I mean, it is a makeout scene if I ever saw one, and it is beautiful. It's beautifully done. It's like a in the round. Do I want to call it in a round? But basically the camera just circles them as they kiss, and it's a beautiful way. You have the music playing, the violins in the background. It's a beautifully shot scene, and it's a very it's not like a really it's weird to say dirty makeout scene, or like it's just a kiss that you could tell that they, like, these characters have been wanting to do this for a very long time. But it's a beautiful kiss. It's not like I never look at that kiss and I'm like, oh wow, they're like heavily making out, like ew, like there's a lot going on there. No, it's like, yeah, they're heavily kissing, but it's very passionate and beautiful and well earned at this point, I think. And I think that's probably why I really like the scene. I like the way it's shot, is because I think it is well earned at this point. You know, it's been 6 episodes that they have been holding, 6 weeks, we'll call it 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks since they've been holding back these feelings for each other that they've just wanted to give in, and this never did. And it's beautiful. It is so beautiful, and I'm so happy that it happens just like that. And just like that, the episode ends. That is the end of episode 6. Basically, Kate separates herself from her, and they just look at each other, and it zooms, and then there's like the outside shot of them just kind of like holding hands, and like, oh my God, like we just kissed, like it just happened, like oh my God, it just happened. But yes, it's beautiful, so good. So yeah, guys, that is the end of episode 6 of Bridgerton season 2. Great episode. Like I said in the beginning, I think this episode had a lot of plots going on, a lot of side stuff going on, lots and lots of stuff going on. So it's a little bit jumpy, but at the same time, the wedding scene is beautiful. It's an amazing scene. It's beautifully captured. I loved it. I loved it. I love that they finally kiss. And we're just gonna keep going into the next 2 episodes. We got 2 more episodes left, where shit gets even more complicated, but walls start to come down. And once they start coming down, it really is, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Oh my, I can't wait to talk about the next 2 episodes, because those 2 episodes are, they are up there on my favorites. Definitely. They are so fucking, they're delicious. They're delicious. They're so good. They're so good. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my breakdown for this week. I hope you have a really good week. And, yeah, you know the deal. I will be releasing this on my podcast version on Mondays. I'll try my best to have my YouTube videos out every week, usually, but sometimes I get a little bit busy and things just kind of get a little bit delayed. So just hold out for my my YouTube videos, but they are out at least once a week. Hopefully I'll start to get more on a routine where I know I'll be able to have them out on a certain day. I usually try for Wednesday, Thursdays, but you just never know. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay? Love you.